Loukas?
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me okay? Perfect. Today we're shifting a little bit hats, and I'm presenting this still as part of Piraeus Equity Advisors, but as the fund manager for PJ Tech Catalyst, which is the upcoming ICT fund in co-investment cooperation with the European Investment Fund, which should be up and running in the next month or so. We are still in final negotiations, I have to say, as the agreement is. What we want to show you here is what we are going to implement in Greece that personally and other parts of my group have implemented back in the US and in Israel. So the whole concept here is how can we utilize some of these interesting approaches that have got a very successful model in new startups. Here you see what we think there are four of the main areas of early stage assistance to companies, because it's not all about money. We said that yesterday. We will say it over and over. It's not about, I'm making a statement here because I didn't make it yesterday, just to be on the record. Our group is not about bank guarantees. It's not about issues. We are taking risk, and we are taking corporate risk, so we're focusing on that part. So development of new technologies, obviously this is what we are focusing on at this point with these funds. But it's very important to start from the beginning. I will be focusing on what we've done back in the US. Back in the US and through corporate venturing, which is basically venture capital through a big corporate rather than a partnership, but pretty much the same exact thing, is the focus is you need to find some very good business-minded academics. You need to be able to cooperate with the technology institutes. Now you will hear it, Mr. Kanelopoulos, good morning. And very important, the third point, I won't elaborate too much because our partner in this fund, Kostas Malios, will be focusing on this specific topic, the IP protection. If you have a value creation that it is IP protectable need, this is a very important thing you need to do very early on. There are specific resources, as you will hear later on in the presentation, both here in Greece and abroad, specialized law firms that we bring together to our target companies. How do you do that, though? That sounds good, but let's talk a little bit about the most important second box. Incubation and spin-off process. What does this mean? How do you spend the time to find these teams? It's very important to find teams, to find business models, to find long-term strategy. And as you will see there are 3 points that the most important of all is the first. You need the right chemistry, both between the team and also between the team and the investor, because it's not all about money again, and you will hear it over and over from, I think, this panel. Partner mentoring is a very, very important and pivotal factor to have a success, because we are investors. We know the investment side, we can value companies, we understand very high level certain sectors, a lot more in some other sectors, but we don't understand technology and other specific subjects. There we're going to partner. And we did partner with MIT and Harvard business professors that they had their own. Now we're talking about the US here, right? So see the difference with what we were saying yesterday. Even if they're associated, I will link things that we talked about yesterday, even if they are associated with institutes, they are allowed to have their own business let's say companies, business endeavors. They are clearly focused on helping the partners, I would call them, not the students, because they're becoming partners, to push these new technologies, help them develop them, and spin them out of universities, of institutes, of incubating houses, as we had 2 houses in Cambridge, in Boston, where we were spending hours and hours, literally. We would start days from morning to evening trying to help set the business model, help the companies focus on what they need to do on certain things that they shouldn't be worried, so that they could at least work on their business model. Last point, not least, we implemented it in the US with great success. This is always an interesting, I'm going to point number 6 here, if you remember from yesterday, provocative points. We have taken at that point a very strategic investor approach versus VC type of approach, which you will see when we talk about Greece what that means. How do you bring these things into a country like Greece? Very interesting. These 4 things need to happen. So this slide talks about how do you transfer some of these things that you saw before to what we need to do here. We need to adjust it. Greece is, I wouldn't call it peculiar. It's unique. It's different than the US, definitely, and Israel. Number 1, you need to bring a mix of both the local understanding, and I will talk about the first and third point together, blocks from the left, and the international understanding. What is the international understanding? You need to really bring the know-how of the investment side, of very stringent risk processes, and how do you do things that doesn't matter, it crosses geographies. How do you bring that into the Greek reality? Well, you can only do it with finding people that they understand, they've worked, they understand the business sector here, and they understand the financial sector here as well, because it plays a big role. We'll talk about that as well. Second and fourth boxes, we spoke a little bit about rigorous investment and risk management processes, but let's focus on the execution ability with the right partners. Very difficult markets. I won't speak about the group, but let's talk about still the market. Greece is not unique in the region. You have Romania, you have Bulgaria, you have other European and non-European countries that they have a little bit of the same issues and challenges in executing deals. We're not going to talk about statism here today, so let's move on that. Now you would say, no, we cannot do that in Greece. Well, we believe we can. We're implementing this model for the last 2.5 years, and these 4 boxes says why we think that we're ready and we will be successful. Box number 1. What does it mean, international financial and sector expertise? We have a group of 9 people, of which 2 are non-Greeks. Every other one has schooled, and most of us worked abroad for any period of years up to 21 years. We won't tell you who has the 21 years. The other part, though, is how do you have this understanding with bringing it down to the box down there? What does it mean, deep regional knowledge and understanding? As we said, 3 things need to exist. You need to understand what it means private equity and venture capital. Yesterday, you heard 3 different approaches to venture capital and private equity. So in what we understand private equity and venture capital, we have married people with experience from abroad with people that they understand the financial sector. They've worked in banking. They've worked in other groups that they would say that they are doing venture capital and private equity in Greece. And third, they've done businesses, they've worked in business sectors, and they understand how the Greek entrepreneur is thinking. To the right, we don't need to elaborate anymore. We've talked about it yesterday. Very hard, very difficult to execute in these markets. That second part, it starts getting interesting here in our group. What we can do, we know what we can do. What we don't know how to do, we really know that we need some subject matter experts. And we have partnered with 3 individuals as part of the management team of the PJ Tech Catalyst. The first individual, you will hear him right afterwards. Mr. Malios, I think Nick will speak about him, internationally known, very senior executive in technology. Number 2, the Greek side of Microsoft, the ex-CEO of Microsoft and Intel in Greece, Mr. Chris Tsagos. And the third person, you hopefully all heard him yesterday speaking about most probably the most successive spin-off. Now I can say what the spin-off is. Yesterday I didn't want to market Mr. Vasilis Theoharakis, who was in Alba. He has done spin-offs in Israel, and he has really developed this model on his own. And On top of that, we have an advisory board with other very esteemed individuals, like you heard Litsa speak yesterday. We have other individuals like Aris Hadjiaslanis, who was in the initial group that created Panaphone, which became Vodafone, and so forth. So we have brought a great mix of people, even an American CTO who advises us on specific technology issues based out of Boston. We're having calls with Skype, judging if the best of breed technology is being used in the companies we're looking at. So we really need to change the way we're doing things here in Greece. This shows what we said yesterday. I don't know how other people are doing it here in Greece. What we decided we will do is create, and that's why we started. If you add the numbers, it's a little bit less than 100 million. It's 85, 90 million there, which in my mind is small. But it's important. We said yesterday we will not be able to change the world with the 90 million of our group and the additional numbers from the other side. But we will start creating the ecosystem. The ecosystem, in order to be created, needs to start from the beginning to the end. I won't talk much. You're seeing three funds there. The main three areas that we're focusing on is technology, energy, renewable energy, and very specific niche segments, which all of them have to have an export-oriented focus from day one. And I will close with that. This is what we're aiming. And we're aiming to do that, obviously, because we want to be the best on what we're doing. We think we're unique. Everybody thinks so. But that bubble there shows our vision. We want to be the local know-how partner group for institutional investors that they will come, and not only, but they will come from abroad and they will try to build something good and new in this country. They're bringing their money in here. They tried it once, directly they got burned. They need to have somebody in the middle who can speak their language, and at the same time they can execute with Greek entrepreneurs, with Greek developers, with Greek different partners, and not only in Greece. We're talking to Romania, we're talking to Bulgaria, we're talking to Egypt, we're talking to Turkey, we're talking to a lot of interesting close-by countries that they have very unique characteristics. I will stop there. I think we will have a lot of time to discuss, and I will ask questions. Thank you.
Loukas, thank you.